Okay. Here we go.
Stay tuned for sports.
Keeping Score with Jess and Dean.
It is Sunday, February 22nd. Good morning to you, sir.
How are you?
Good. I'm ready for spring.
What?
I'm ready for spring. I think spring should be here, and I am over it. I don't like extreme cold, and I don't like extreme heat. I am born in the summer, but you know what? Sometimes summertime, it's just, it depletes all your energy because of the humidity. So spring, I welcome. Fall, more than lovely. However, right now, ain't liking it.
I found a way to try it because this is one of my favorite times of the year, not weather-wise, but just the fact I love March Madness.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Before you know it, what do we got? February 22nd here. And February is always the short month, right?
Yes,
So
every year.
So that doesn't change. 28 days.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is we do the show next week. We're already in March, and I guess get that feel of March Madness. And I told myself, being so depressed the last couple of years with the Friars that we have no hope. And we'll get into that in the segment later on. But
Maybe in a boxing ring.
I have found a way. Yeah, nice jab. I have found a way to just be so like dialed in and just enjoying college basketball this year. With all even though I hate all the portal stuff, but I've learned to accept it. There's just a wonderful class of freshmen. I've just been watching a lot of college hoops, and I just can't wait when we start. We have a lot of time to kill. I will be breaking down a lot of college basketball as we go forward. I'm just really excited. I try to block out because usually when PC's doing well, I'm even more excited about it because your team's relevant. You got a shot. Maybe they're going to get in, make a run.
Don't have to worry about that.
The boards. And I'm tired of everyone saying that. If they get in the Big East tournament, they still have talent. They could run the table. Stop it. Okay,
they could.
They're embarking on another 12 and 20. I hate to say I'm right, but
unless they're all suspended. But there's still some talent there. It's just they can do both.
But I'm very excited. I know you're talking weather-wise right now, but it's been a little bit dicey, but we just can't get rid of that snow. I mean, we haven't had it warm enough, and then obviously because we've got a couple of little mini storms coming in where it's like you're just adding on to the snow that's already there.
Snow.
But the driveway, I got enough to get in and out of my house. I'm good with it.
I know. I'm just worried about the slick spots. I'm at that age where I can't lose a wrist at this point. It's just too inconvenient.
Worried about going down.
It's too inconvenient for me. I can't wear any of my good sneakers because I don't want the salt to bust them up. So it's just I'm ready for. I would take 50 at this point. 50, 60. I wouldn't even wear a jacket.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny when you
day.
mentioned the salt. That was like the episode where Elaine took the dress that she tried on in Seinfeld and she took it outside. She wanted to see an unbiased mirror.
Yep.
And then the girl comes and she goes, "Nah, this doesn't work for me." And she goes, "You're buying that one." She goes, "No, what?" She goes, "Well, what are you going to do about the salt on the bottom of that? You want me to box it? You want to wear it out?" She got stuck on that one. Oh, early innings here on keeping score.
Listen, we got it.
We running.
We'll have some extra time.
We got a full hour.
We're gonna use a lot of little.
It's challenging.
Yeah, but we'll be
challenging.
fine.
And I got baseball starting up soon too.
I know that's exciting
I don't
for you.
mean for me. I'm sure guys are already indoors. They're totally lifeless. That won't be me. Working on the just getting the body healthy and feeling good. 10 on Sunday.
Nice.
It's been pretty good.
Did you see any of that story from Fanatics.com making the Red Sox jerseys? And when they made them, the letters were kind of too sewn into the middle of it wasn't centered.
Yeah.
And there was this big thing about how Fanatics is dishing out product, but they're not things are off centered. And I just didn't know if they're remaking their jerseys.
Yeah, and that's a big brand, right?
Yeah.
That's
that's Tom Brady goes to the guy that owns it. Tom Brady goes to all the parties.
And this was strictly a botch job on the Red Sox.
Yeah. The Red Sox jerseys, it was the X of Sox and the D of red. Yeah, the S of Sox red and then the D that in the middle, and it's it's overlapping.
So
and it's just a sloppy job.
So it goes from bad to worse for the Bo Sox. Is that what you're telling me? They can't even get the brand right?
You know what? I like your team. I'm sorry. I still think they're going to be something, and I like. I don't know. I just think it's a solid group.
I think spring training's super too long now. Of course, I think I told you off here this year you're going to see some guys leaving for the World Baseball Classic, so I'll be getting into that. But it is too long, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is. But it just shows you another baseball season coming. And everybody's 0-0, so you have that feeling. I'm sure you feel the same way with football starts.
Yeah,
I know it's a depressing time for you now, but we will find a way. We will truck forward.
Do I have the funeral noise? I don't. I love that.
We will find a way to not kill some time, but to break down some football. There's always football.
No, there is, and I get it. It's
Pigskin
still
365.
Yeah, but not as much. And you know what the thing is, I've realized in doing this this show for how many years? Are we 4
Into
years
our
now?
fourth, yeah.
So when football, at least I could pay more attention with that. One day, maybe
Yeah.
the Thursday night's the one game, and then you get the one game on Monday night. But it was like one day that I could focus on everything. And
Yes.
now it's just like, all right, we got the Celtics playing on this day, we got PC playing on this day, we got the, I'm not clean. Like
Yeah.
I'm all over the place, and I'm just like, well, that's the same time as Housewives.
Oh. What?
How much? All right, you ready to get into the show?
I am.
I think most importantly, the admiration is mutual here and the affection, frankly, from the Patriots side. So I think there's a little bit of a waiting game here with Max Crosby. When they're talking about handing a giant contract to a new player who's outside the building, the real question is culture fit. Can we trust you to be aligned with the coaching staff and be as competitive as hell and work the way that we want you to? And so those answers were yes when they signed Milt Williams to a big contract. This would be a big contract and assets to give up to Las Vegas. But to me, he is a hand-in-glove fit for the culture here. So it's not just a premium player and a premium position. This is a rare opportunity to add a guy who fits the culture in year two, something they're very cognizant of when they're paid that much money. This to me is just the stars aligning for the Patriots.
All right. So how do you feel about the Crosby fit? And before you answer that, I would just like to say this. If you watch the games during the playoffs, our defense was spectacular. I mean, especially in the Super Bowl. Like, those guys had no trouble sleeping that night because they know they did a great job. Would some people say, all right, you want to spend all this money on Crosby, but the defense is decent? Wouldn't you pay more attention to the offensive line and get people there?
No doubt about it. But I would think that there would be another, how do you say this? Another move that would follow. So, like, say you were to bring a Crosby over.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we may not have the package that the Raiders want. Don't forget, they're not going to just give them to us. It's going to cost the Hall a couple of first-round picks probably. And don't forget, who would have thought the Patriots were going to win 4 games and, win 14 this year? Now, all of a sudden, that first-round pick is 31.
Yeah. So I mean, we're not good at that.
You know what I'm saying? So if they can get better from somewhere else, we may not have the package for Crosby. I just like the fact that you're even asking me, just because 2 or 3 years ago, you wouldn't be asking me this because we weren't a destination.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to come. I mean, this is I didn't want to talk about this 3 weeks ago. I think you mentioned him. You said, oh, Crosby, there's interest, mutual. I said, I don't want to talk about it. I'm worried about the team. But now the season's over.
That was your girl that reported that, by the way.
Now the season's over, and there's still interest. And he likes New England. He likes Vrabel's system. And it could happen. And whether it happens or not, I think the fact that we're even relevant. My point to you earlier was the fact that, like, in a situation where I would see, if you're trying to allocate some of the money that they have, I think they have 40 to 42 million under the cap right now that they could use. They have the money to make it happen for Crosby. Don't forget, you probably see a situation, you bring a Crosby over, maybe you trade a Barmore inside, because he's been a problem off the field and there's been some issues there. You got Milton Williams on the other side. So, like, don't forget, 42 million, you're still going to trim the fat somewhere. There's some guys that are going to be cap casualties. We don't know how that's going to play out in the weeks to come. But some of the now this is where the business really comes in, because it was pie in the sky all year. We were loving it. House money. All right, it came to a screeching halt in the Super Bowl, but it was still a fun season. Now all of a sudden, all right, the business end of it is Diggs a one and done. We have so many, and I'm sure you have questions for me, but like, there's so many players that you say, I love that guy this year. He may not be back next year. It's just the business side of it. But yeah, I do agree with you. We need more help on the offensive side of the ball than the defensive side. And if I'm taking some of the money that you have with the cap, I always say it's tough to just re-sign guys that you already have, but Christian Gonzalez is a must re-sign. So if you're going to take most of that cheddar, I'm giving it to Gonzalez.
Right. All right. So, I mean, I think for culture-wise, I think he's younger than I thought he was, as we learned last week.
That's an old 28.
Yeah, I know,
right,
seriously.
That's an old 28.
I was like, he's 36, 37. 1 year he's done. So, all right. So I would like that to be an addition, obviously.
Yes.
But we have to work on the offensive line instead, or even getting receivers. Like you said, Diggs could possibly be done. Would an A.J. Brown be possible? He just seems like he's going to be too expensive, and he won't be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see him as a leader. Like, Diggs took that role as a leader. Not that, I mean, he could do much in the playoffs anyway, but I don't know if A.J. Brown is. He's a little bit of a baby. Yeah,
absolutely. And selfishly for us, though, he loves Vrabel. He played for Vrabel in Tennessee. They drafted him. They have a little synergy there. Okay, I get it. But, like, I don't like his attitude in Philly. When your team was winning Super Bowls, you're bitching about getting the football. Yeah. So I don't know about that one. And that's going to cost, I'm hearing possibly a first-round pick. I'd give maybe the 30th pick in the draft. If we had, like, and in basketball terms, we had like a lottery pick, a top 10 or 15 pick.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not giving that for A.J. Brown. I'm sorry.
Right.
He's good. I'd give like a 2 and a 4 and maybe a player or something like that, somebody in an expiring contract. But I don't know. I like Brown, but I'm not like my offseason goals right now. A.J. Brown's somewhere in there, but he's not at the top of the list for me.
So what we heard this week, Tyreek Hill is no longer with the Dolphins. Does he need another surgery, or he's like his leg was snapped?
Yeah, they said he's worked. I mean, granted, we know what type of guy he is off the field. Obviously, you're not adding him if Diggs stays.
Maybe they can add his kids. He has a lot of them.
What?
You keep picking them up in the draft. Obviously, if Tyreek can run, if he passed off any of those genes, perhaps we'd have like some good contenders in the future.
I don't want to throw any digs.
I
don't want to throw any digs at Diggs, but I don't think they're going to be playing together. Okay, so if Stephon moves on, then they might look at Tyreek. I don't want to bring that player in.
I don't want to bring him in either.
At 32, you took a shot with Diggs last year. The guy played all 17 games. I marvel at what he did. If he turns out to be a one and done, it's the business side of it. I know he makes a lot. I told you
he could be in jail.
I've been telling you for 4 years, Jess, you're hired to be fired in that league or at least restructured. He's not playing at that number. They signed him for what, 3 for $69. I know there's a $6.9 million thing that kind of kicks in if they keep him. In the next few weeks, or they could cut him, cut bait with him, then they'd have dead money. But it doesn't work it works against the cap, but you're not paying him that money. They could let him go. I mean, 85 receptions, over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. I still love the player, and I love what he was on and off the field. I know a couple of the baggage still follows you. I still think the production does outweigh the BS, the stuff that we hate off the field that we don't like to hear about. So I'm out on Tyreek Hill, whether Diggs stays or not.
Okay, good. I don't like him either. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
Back to KC maybe for him on that one. I don't know. Yeah, he always.
That always gets me nervous because then that means.
I mean that they don't have the team they had before. He doesn't put them over the hump now. It's familiarity. They did bring Eric Bieniemy back. Eric sleeping with Bieniemy. Okay, that was a former Chris Berman, one of his isms. I love that one.
Good. I didn't know if you made that one up.
No. They brought. I just stole the copyrights on that one.
Okay,
but he had brought him back as offensive coordinator. He flourished in Kansas City with Tyreek Hill at the time. He's done nothing. He went to Washington for a year. Bieniemy was a hot coaching name for a while, never really materialized. So it'll be interesting to see what Kansas City does. After they restructured Patrick Mahomes' deal, so they can make some moves. That's $40 million they freed up.
That's insane.
That's how you manipulate the salary cap. So expect Kansas City to get a lot better.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to have 2 seasons in a row like they had today, this year. So besides, because we keep picking on Diggs because he was the newest guy that came over to the Patriots. But is there someone else on the offense? Obviously, Drake May's not moving. We get that. But would it hurt you to lose like a Hollins or a Pop or a Hunter Henry? I know these are guys that Drake May likes, but is it going to kill us to lose a Hunter Henry and get somebody else? Or
no? No, you can look in the draft for tight ends. They could get the kid Njoku from Cleveland. They've talked about him for 3 or 4 years, bringing him over. They love the kid Ike Likely, who the kid that for Baltimore.
Oh, yes.
Who was it a catch? It wasn't
Very
a catch
thin.
in the end zone.
Yep.
He had a tough year this year, but he's from Massachusetts, and there's a connection there. So he's already made it.
I like him.
He's sort of already unofficially said, and it wouldn't cost a lot. He's not a big money guy. They could bring him over. It would probably be a trade. It wouldn't cost you a haul.
Nice.
So they could upgrade at that position. I love what Henry's done. Maybe Henry comes back. He's going to have to restructure. He makes 8.5. He's not going to get that. So I'd say Henry would have to restructure. Hooper probably would be out. You'd upgrade the second part of your tight end, or you could look at the draft. Pop Douglas, you mentioned. I like him in spurts, in moments. It seems like, he's got some big playability, even though he's a slot guy. He had some big plays when it really mattered, but I don't think he's done it enough. He hasn't had enough of them. I think, his production's been a little bit kind of off. I've expected more out of him. I could see him moving on. And as far as Mac Hollins, you mentioned Hollins.
Yeah.
He missed the last 2 games of the year, and I don't know what's real anymore, Jess, but I heard a rumor that he needed 4 catches in the last couple of weeks of the season to kick in an incentive that would have made him $400,000. And the Patriots gave it to him as a bonus for next year. So if this is true,
good.
If this is true, what I hear, that kicks in the bonus for next year, which means he comes back next year.
Perfect.
Because he was on a 2-year deal. Maybe it was like a 1-year deal guaranteed in the second year, incentive based. So they gave him that $400,000, gave it to him. And you use it as a bonus for next year, and he comes back. If it's correct from what I heard,
I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah, he missed the last 2 games of the season. I mean, he was hurt, and he came back, and he was still the only guy that caught the ball in the Super Bowl. He had 2 catches for 51 yards in the
He's a a warrior,
in the
some would
Denver
say.
game. I mean, he's an odd duck, but I'll tell you one thing: he plays, man. He brings it.
Yep.
So that guy came back, the abdominal injury, tough guy. I'd love to have him. He's not a guy there's a locker room presence with him. There's another guy that there's value there.
Mhm.
That's a guy I'm not moving on from.
Okay.
I know Booty kind of came on. There's that wide receiver one. I know they're looking at the kid Pierce from the Colts. They're talking about him being a $20 million receiver. I don't know a ton about him. I know they have Pittman over there. They've got some receivers. They're looking to maybe move on. They got the kid Tyler Warren. They got from Penn State, the tight end. But Pierce has been the hot name that the Patriots have been looking at. They said he has big playability. But I think that would have to. I think he may be a free agent. Cost you a lot of money. If they were to bring him over, it would be the end of Diggs. Just so you know.
Okay.
So that would.
And you would be fine with that or no?
I've seen some highlights on him. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I'm just saying a 26, 27-year-old Pierce over a 33-year-old Diggs. I hate to cut bait because I love what the player did. I love what he brought to the table, and I loved what he did in big games. I know the Super Bowl, it wasn't to be, but Buffalo early in the season, at Baltimore because he was from there. It seemed like always in the big games, Diggs kind of shined.
I heard, was this maybe just a rumor or maybe I got it wrong? Atlanta's Pitt. Is he available?
Yeah, so I mean, the guy that I've been telling you for 4 years, I'm waiting for Kyle Pitts to break out, and then I write him off, and he has a 3-touchdown game. I guess they didn't exercise his 5th-year option, so I don't know what this contract, contractually what's going on in Atlanta. I know he's not. I don't. Maybe they stick with him because now they brought in another coach. They brought Stefanski in, I believe. Mm-hmm. So now maybe they feel like he can resurrect there. I know he was mentioned again. If you can get him as a free agent for cheap money, if he's still contractually there in Atlanta, I'm not giving up much to get him. I think Pitts is kind of a middling guy. Came out of Florida 5 years ago. I thought he was going to be like the next great thing, and he just hasn't really materialized.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about around the NFL? Is there any other news that we need to?
I think the big thing is I accidentally just taught, as I was rambling, I just mentioned the Patrick Mahomes thing. That's big to see that he restructured. And that's what happens when you pay your quarterback 50, 60. At some point, your team starts sucking. Yeah. And I don't think he wants to suck much longer. So he's saying, all right, let's see what we can do here. So that's the big news as far as Kansas City goes, that they can do some things now with the draft coming up, the combine in a couple of, pretty soon.
It's so funny.
It's another season. It's like I said, Pigskin 365.
I will say this. I was downstairs with Barbie Joe and Pro FM, and she was just like, is this odd that they're taking away all of Patrick Mahomes' money? she's like, that's a lot of money that they're just grabbing from this guy. And she goes, how is that going to be all right? And I'm like, well, he'll always make it up. He wants a better team. And with incentives, he'll probably make he's not going to make all that back, but he'll do all right. He needs the weapons that he can't have another season like he did this year. Yeah. But when she said it, I'm like, I can't believe it's that much. That's a lot.
He's not doing 2-for-1s, okay? No. When he goes out to dinner, he's all right. Fine. Okay.
He has his own restaurant, by the way, with Travis Kelce. I was good. It's a steakhouse. All right, we're going to thank our sponsors. We're going to come back talking about our Celtics.
790 The Score, your best bet for sports. The Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council. 10,000 skilled craftsmen and women. Together with our contractors, we spend approximately $6 million per year training our membership in state-of-the-art construction technologies to ensure a stable, safe, and productive workforce, delivering projects on time and on or under budget with the finest craftsmanship in the industry. The Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council. We build Rhode Island.
Celebrating 25 years, Build RI members have been directly involved in constructing over 110 local, all-union, large-scale commercial construction projects worth more than $10 billion, promoting local economic development initiatives in order to create business opportunities for local businesses and work opportunities for local skilled craftsmen and women in a competitive environment that is level and fair. With career opportunities developed through apprenticeship training programs, the focus is geared towards making their craftsmen and women the most highly skilled in the construction industry. To find out more, visit buildri.org. No one wants to be involved in an accident, but if there is an occurrence, the best place to take your vehicle is Northeast Auto Body in Johnston. They have a state-of-the-art collision and service center complete with the latest in mechanical and collision repair. But they're a business that handles more than just body work. They provide services such as vehicle inspections, mechanical work, rentals, paintless dent removal, 24-hour towing, and more. Northeast Auto Body, serving New England for over 20 years. Get it done right the first time. Northeast Auto Body, 775 Hartford Ave in Johnston, and at neautobody.com. You want a Kleenex over there? Hold on.
I'm 27. I feel great. Just started my prime.
Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals.
3 minutes and 8 seconds left. I just lunged for the ball.
Tatum is hurt. And in a New York minute, everything has changed.
Yesterday I was Superman. Now I'm in a wheelchair. Am I ever going to play again? For sure. And my mom, she was like, if anybody can come back from this, it's you. There are people counting on me to fight through this.
Only thing worse than not being able to walk is coming back and not being Jason Tatum.
So Jason Tatum, if you have a documentary, 5 episodes about your recovery, something tells me you're coming back, because why would you put it? That's a weird thing for me too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, blow out my ACL and then, Achilles, and then have cameras follow me around. Like, how is that an opportunity that people are just like, let's follow his journey?
Yeah.
I guess from a history perspective, and if he comes back better than ever, I guess that's great. But you put that out, which means we should have a timeline on when you're coming back. Sorry.
Yeah,
if you want to make money on your documentary, then make money on the court for us and get us to another championship.
It does line up with him coming back to play this year and making a run to see if the Celtics, and I mentioned it earlier in the open of the show, I'm shocked that this team is 36-19 right now. And, Johnson Zone's really done the job. But, I mean, you take an elite player, a top 10 player in the league, top 5 player in the league, 5'10", and Jaylen Brown, two-way player, has been top 5 also this year. That's a hell of an addition. After the trade deadline's passed,
Yep.
You're coming out of the All-Star break. You've got, 25, 30, not even 30 games to go. And you have a chance to add Jason Tatum into the mix, even if he's 80%. You see these lineups that Joe's been throwing out there, Jess. I mean, they've been playing. He's been getting it from everybody on the roster. I mean, Ron Harper Jr. the other night against Golden State came in, hit a couple of threes off the bench. He was a forgotten guy. I'm not saying he's a rotational piece. You got Shyam Stott, and he's been the energy guy. I know you don't love him, but he's been good. You got, I think, between him, Walsh, and Ugo, they're the Jason
Rotation.
Tatum spot. So there's it's not like he's going to have to steal minutes from anybody. Those guys are getting minutes because that spot is there. And if Jason were to come back, I mean, he's not going to be coming off the bench playing 15 minutes. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to play 40 from the rip.
Right.
But I think Joe knows how to monitor those minutes. He's got his finger on the pulse.
All right. So this is my question that I asked you a couple weeks ago. And I think pretty much since Jason Tatum got hurt, this is Jaylen Brown talking about, blending in with JT being back on the court.
Obviously, there's always going to be a lot of talk around you and him and making that work. Is that overblown to you? Is there going to be some things you guys have to figure out when he gets back into the lineup? How real is that conversation that people have about you two when it comes to his comeback?
I mean, those conversations has been since we got drafted, pretty much. So there's, in any human relationship, in any type of team, there's always going to be some stuff that you're going to have to work on and improve and work through. But in terms of winning, me and him both have done that at a high level for a very long time. So I'm looking forward to that.
So I thought that was the proper answer, and I think he handled it very well. He's been handling a lot of things well lately. Jaylen Brown, I still think it's going to be weird when they get back on the court together. I think they'll win a couple games, and then I think it's going to be Jaylen Brown's going to want the last shot, and then I think Jason Tatum's going to probably give it to him, actually, because he never takes the last shot. But it's one of those things where it may throw off the momentum. I don't know. I hope it doesn't. I hope they just come back and then sweep it. But I don't know.
Blow everybody away, and there's no mention of who gets the rock late in the game. It's like the games are mailed in already.
That'd be nice.
It will come down to some games where you are picking and choosing for the last shot. But listen, this is is it still possibly Jason Tatum's team? He got hurt, so I mean it happens. But I mean it's Jaylen Brown's season, and I know you say a lot of the right things. He also said it was his most fun season of that since he's been in the league. It's nice to say that, showing that it is enjoyable when you feel validated. But also, you won a championship 3 years ago. That wasn't your most fun seation. To me, is the hardware.
Yeah, he won MVP for both.
Yeah,
so I don't understand.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was a little bit of a to show that I can do it without the guy who everyone considers, and I'm not respected, and I'm always trying to fight for my spot in the league. But I think right now Jaylen Brown is one of the best two-way players in the NBA. I think he may be the best two-way player in the game as far as what he does on the defensive side of the ball. He's so strong. I mean, it's just his ability to get to the hole. You know, obviously the ball handling's still questionable. He is what he is now. He's 10 years in the league. It isn't getting better. Sorry. Okay. But
it's like he's going to start working with a coach about it.
But Jess, you know, you mentioned earlier, I think even on Pro FM, you said, you know, this little 4-game road trip, they're coming out of the break. And I watched their focus the other night because it was a 10 o'clock game. And obviously I want W's for the Celtics. I want the Celtics to win as many games as possible to get the highest seed. You know, you got the Knicks, you got Cleveland coming with Mitchell and the Beard. They won 9 out of 10. There's some teams coming. But it did affect me a little the other night even though the Celtics beat Golden State. I know it was 121-110, but they were up 30 in that game. It was a little bit disheartening that Curry didn't play.
Yeah, right.
Curry, and it's nothing major with his knee. We'll be back
soon. Porzingis play?
But so there was a Zingas sign. He's off the milk carton. He made his debut 12 minutes. Average Al was 2 for 10. He was throwing bricks up left and right.
Yeah, what was his comments after the game?
He's made some odd comments about, like, you know, I left. We'll talk about it at a later date, but I'd still finish my career in Boston. All right, it's over, Al. All right, you're not as productive.
Just stay and get less of a paycheck.
That team stinks on ice, by the way. Draymond only played 19 minutes in that game. He was 0 for 7. He was throwing up air. It was pretty bad. Golden State's not very good. I'm telling you, if Curry played in that game, they weren't beating the Celtics that night. Joe had them ready to play coming out of the break. Jaylen Brown had 23, 15, and 13. That's not a cheap triple-double.
No, right.
Where you get like 10, 11, and 12. This guy had 23, 15, and 13. And Pritchard off the bench in 6 games is averaging 22 and a half. He had 26 in that game off the bench.
How funny is it?
Playing.
You move him off the bench, and he's just a completely different player. That is his role. He should never be a starter.
Look at that second unit right now. Now you got Pritchard, and you've got Vucevic off the bench. You know, he's been terrific. I mean, you could flip him and Cater, but I guess they like Cater in that role. Doesn't matter. Vucevic against Golden State played 28 minutes, and Cater only played 18 minutes. I told you Gaza was going to be the casualty. He only played 2 minutes in that game.
Oh.
He's the third guy. So, like, he's going to be ready to play. You still always have to be ready. And the Celtics look really good. They looked really focused. Got a little lazy in the fourth quarter. Golden State made a nice comeback, but the Celtics, I guess, won it by 11. They were up over 30 in that game. It was kind of fun to watch a late night game coming out of the break. I'm sure you were sleeping.
Yes, I was definitely having my dreamies. I will say this. I know you're saying they were up by 30 something, but if they have Golden State, like you said, made a little run. If they made a little run with Steph Curry, that's where I get nervous with our Celtics in the last minutes of the game, because everything we could have been talking about this and be like, they're up 30 and then they lost by 2.
Yeah, it was funny. It was Pritchard who hit 2 like just total backbreakers when it was down to like 13, 14, almost, and he just hit 2 threes consecutively with like 4 minutes to go, and it was all she wrote, and the Celtics won it going away. Jaylen had a couple of nice plays around the basket to kind of put the icing on the cake. I think he had a nice baseline jumper near the Golden State bench, kind of gave them a look back, but he looks really locked in. Celtics, obviously, on this little 4-game road trip, you've got the Lakers tonight. I don't know who, I can't tell you who's playing for them. I mean, LeBron, he plays, he doesn't play. Luke is out. So, I mean, that should be another game. The Celtics, this little 4-game road trip out west. I would have said it's going into this road trip, even though they already have a win. I'd say I'd be really disappointed if they don't at least go 2-2, 3-1. They should. There should be no problem there. So they're looking really good. I mean, you got some teams around you. You don't want to finish. You want to be in that 2 or 3 seed. You don't want to fall to the 4 seed and have to play Detroit any sooner than you would have to. There's some teams that you'd like to duck if you possibly can.
Back to Jaylen and Jason, quick, because I was watching The Last Dance this week because it was Michael Jordan's birthday, and there was some similarities, I feel, with Jason Tatum being Michael Jordan, not being a jerk and having an attitude or picking on his players. But the Scottie Pippen not getting the respect thing is the Jaylen Brown to me. And when I guess it was one of the episodes and Michael Jordan wasn't playing, he was playing baseball, and Kukoc was on the team, and they were just like, all right, Kukoc gets the last shot, and Pippen didn't go on the court. I am wondering if there is a situation that happens like that and Jaylen's like, I've been here all year doing the things I've been doing and you're giving him the last shot. I'm wondering if he's going to be one of those guys that stays on the bench and then, have all the Cartwright
refusal to go in, huh?
Yeah.
Kukoc banged the shot and won the game.
They won the game. Yeah.
They didn't win it without Jordan that year, but yeah.
Right. And then Cartwright was crying in the locker room saying how Pip let them down and they were all crying and stuff. So so that's just what stuck out in my head. It's just like, especially because, Pippen was there the whole year, and Jaylen Brown has been here the whole
Yeah.
year. So how do you?
Oh yeah,
I think that's a Missoula thing, and I think he's going to be the guy that just says, you know what, suck it up, and I do what I want.
There are some parallels there, and also it's funny you mentioned the Pippen thing. There was also that year where now he let his financial situation, with the Bulls, kind of cloud his judgment on some of the injuries, and Jordan didn't like it the year that, like he said, I'm not going out there hurt. And he took the time. He could have had the surgery a lot sooner and been ready to play.
Yep.
Instead, he waited it out because he wasn't getting enough money. He's also the guy that took the smaller contract.
The $14 million or
he
something.
was scared that he was always poor. So he said, you know what, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he was the 150th highest paid player in the league when he was top 5.
Right.
Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And the Reinsdorfs, and Jerry Krause, they don't like to pay.
No.
So they were a little bit, they squeak when they walk, those guys. But no, I don't think there's going to be a problem. We have, listen, we're in season 9 for Tatum, season 10 for Brown. I haven't seen those guys. I think that the media likes to build up these things that there could be some type of a riff or there's drama. They want to make something because they're bored right now. I think they probably get along a lot better than we think. Maybe they don't hang out off the court like Bird and McHale didn't, but when they're on the court, they have a common goal, and I think they care about the number one thing, which is to win. And of course, the accolades will follow. Jaylen Brown got to start his first All-Star game, obviously, last weekend. And he was terrific.
Oh, how did you feel about that? Because what did they have? They had 4 teams. Like they had USA, they had other or whatever it was. So, and then it was like the young players against the old guys. Yeah. And the young players wanted to play. They were like, it was a game.
So I caught the best part of it for the veterans in the NBA, where I think there was and it was like one quarter, right?
Yeah.
They played a quarter. So it was 4 games, but it was really one game into 4 quarters. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought they got that right. The Saturday thing was terrible. The dunk contest was won by a kid from the Heat who I think got cut this week. He won the dunk contest. He got cut.
At least he won something.
And by the way, I don't know if you would have a problem with this, but I'm going to ask you because it's a valid question.
Okay.
Would you have a problem with Damian Lillard, who didn't play this year with an Achilles? He's out for the whole season.
Yeah.
But he participated in the 3-point contest and won it. And that's his 3rd one. He tied Bird and Craig Hodges, who used to play for Milwaukee and the Bulls. Craig Hodges would play with Jordan. Yeah. I got a problem with it. You can't play in games. We're paying you this year to rehab, but yet you're okay to hoist. I mean, I guess he didn't injure it or anything. He was just shooting, but I mean, he could have tweaked it.
Right.
You're not playing this year.
You set yourself back.
He played in the 3-point. I didn't see the 3-point contest, but I heard he won it.
Oh yeah, no, that would not fly. But that also would be a coaching decision to say like, hey,
unless
it was to get.
All right, first of all, Chauncey Billups is the head coach of Portland. He's out on leave right now for the gambling scandal.
Bijou Phillips.
No, Chauncey Billups is on. Okay. He's in that gambling ring, so he's on. He's on leave. So
maybe he bet on him.
So the immortal Tiago Splitter is the interim head coach.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, this guy he was a backup center for with Tim Duncan with the San Antonio Spurs. He's the interim. My point is, I think Lillard was able to just do whatever he wanted to do. It was kind of lame.
Wow.
But the actual game, I watched it. That game, Kawhi had like 31 of the 45 or something. He was off the shots.
Yep.
But then they had to play they play right after that, the next one, and they got blown out by the young. I think all the veterans were gassed.
Yeah.
Like
but
LeBron,
because they never probably really played in an All-Star game. Yeah. They were just like toss it. They were playing.
It seemed to me like that little All-Star thing, the way that they configured it with the 4th, I think they got that. I'm not saying they got it right, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was okay. So
Anthony Edwards was MVP, right?
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. It was okay.
Yeah. So I watched it because I was just like, I'm going to watch it because Dean's not, and he's going to call it gaff. But I thought it was very entertaining. I couldn't believe that they were rebounding, boxing out, making moves. It was good. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the NBA?
Yeah, well, so obviously, like I said, the Celtics came out of the break winners of 7 out of 8 now with the Golden State win. And on the same night, the Knicks, who have been playing good basketball, they had a chance at home. You're at Madison Square Garden, the world's greatest arena, and Detroit walks in there, and I get it. Detroit's 41-13. They're good.
Who's their good player?
Cade Cunningham, the point guard. He's an MVP candidate. He's absolutely off the charts. They walk in there and blow out the Knicks. The Knicks.
Bill Laimbeer playing?
What?
Dennis Rodman? Isaiah Thomas, was he in there?
It's funny. Before I came up to do the show this morning, the documentary on ESPN was on 30 for 30. It was the Bad Boys.
Oh, yeah.
From the 80s.
That would be them.
When Isaiah hurt his ankle, and then they scored 25 against the Lakers in the third quarter, and then they still lost in the finals.
When their basketballs were hanging out of their shorts.
But then they won back-to-back titles after that. But no, this is a really good Detroit team. But my point is the Knicks just are never ready for the moment. They've played Detroit 3 times this year, and the margin for in all 3 losses, they lost by 84 points in the 3 games. That's 28, almost 30, 29 points a game in the losses.
Wiped out.
Yeah, and there was a fight before the All-Star break. Jalen Duran was the center for Detroit, and Isaiah Stewart, the backup center, got in a fight with someone from,
wouldn't be
from the Hornets. No, and he got in a fight. They're both suspended for that game. So Detroit was shorthanded. And they still blew out the Knicks. So, like, obviously, Stephen A. and all the Knicks people are saying, they're done. They're not going to the finals. That's why I'm telling you, you got to stay away from that. You don't want to get in that 4-5 slot where you would have to play Detroit sooner. You want to stay in that 2 and 3 spot where you're a lot more comfortable there. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland, 9 of 10 with the beard. They're kind of coming up right now. So, that's happening. I think I mentioned it earlier, too. Kyrie's not coming back this year. Dallas is a complete mess, and he had that Achilles injury, so he's taking the year. And I kind of understand that. I don't think he's dogging it. He'll come back healthy next year, obviously at 34 almost. So it's got a little thread on the tires there.
Well, there's no need to come back if they're not going to do anything. So
No.
why take the chance of injuring yourself?
Yeah.
All right. Let's thank our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and talk Red Sox.
790 The Score, your best bet for sports. The Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council, 10,000 skilled craftsmen and women. Together with our contractors, we spend approximately $6 million per year training our membership in state-of-the-art construction technologies to ensure a stable, safe, and productive workforce, delivering projects on time and on or under budget with the finest craftsmanship in the industry. The Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council. We build Rhode Island.
Celebrating 25 years, Build RI members have been directly involved in constructing over 110 local, all-union, large-scale commercial construction projects worth more than $10 billion, promoting local economic development initiatives in order to create business opportunities for local businesses and work opportunities for local skilled craftsmen and women in a competitive environment that is level and fair. With career opportunities developed through apprenticeship training programs, the focus is geared towards making their craftsmen and women the most highly skilled in the construction industry. To find out more, visit buildri.org. No one wants to be involved in an accident, but if there is an occurrence, the best place to take your vehicle is Northeast Auto Body in Johnston. They have a state-of-the-art collision and service center complete with the latest in mechanical and collision repair. But they're a business that handles more than just body work. They provide services such as vehicle inspections, mechanical work, rentals, paintless dent removal, 24-hour towing, and more. Northeast Auto Body, serving New England for over 20 years. Get it done right the first time. Northeast Auto Body, 775 Hartford Ave in Johnston, and at neautobody.com.
We said it at the end of the year, getting back to the postseason was step one, and now we're looking to taking that next step. I think we won 89 games last year. We want to build on that regular season win total, get into the postseason, stay healthy, and take that next step in October. Obviously, winning a World Series is the ultimate goal, but we're also, realistic. It's February, and we want to just make sure everything we're doing now is geared towards playing baseball in October.
And how you feel about that? That was Sam Kennedy talking about,
Yeah, I can't stand him.
Yeah, a lot of Red Sox people can't.
Because he's full of it. Because
he just talks in circles.
First of all, it's not your ultimate goal. Okay, your goal's not
saving money.
Your goal is to save money and keep it for Liverpool and fill the seats at Fenway.
Oh, that's
and
true.
Put out a marginal product. By the way, Vegas has the Red Sox at 87.5 for wins.
Okay, yeah.
So and
not their age. I do tend to gamble. I am the one with the sportsbook app.
87.5. That division's really good, so I can see why it's they're not into the 90s. I think they're going to be right around there, and I don't know if that gets you in. Like I'm saying, I don't know if that even gets you a wild card. I know a lot
gets me money.
Yeah. No, I mean, Alex Cora made some comments this week about Marcelo Meyer, a player that I really like. And obviously, it's all about production. And I don't think he said anything disparaging, but he said meaning like, I think we're all assuming that, after the Caleb Durbin trade that either Meyer's going to start at second or start at third. And he's basically saying got to earn his way onto this roster as far as, and everyone does, but he's basically saying he has to be better offensively. I mean, and in the last couple of years, every time I've mentioned Marcelo Meyer to you, what have I always done? I've always bragged about the hands, the glove. He's basically saying he needs to swing. He has to have a better offensive approach than he did last year when he got his first call up to the Red Sox.
Do you think that's legitimate?
I think it's valid. I think he did have a 2-home run game against the Yankees earlier in the season before the wrist injury. I like Meyer. I think he's an elite glove. But the offense does have to catch up with the defense. So I think it's a valid point by Cora. I don't think he's throwing him under the bus. He's saying I expect more from him. He's gonna have to be more productive if he's gonna start and play every day and be a 150 game guy. Or
so it's not just guaranteed to walk into a spot.
Because there's still a lot of like second and third. It's still kind of prove it to me. Durbin just came over. I was the kid I told you is like kind of small like Pedroia.
Yeah,
I didn't realize I was that accurate. I guess he's listed at 5'8", but they do this new thing where they
5'4".
Well,
no,
but they do a new thing now where they give you the heights, kind of like you do at the NBA Combine thing, where you find out how tall the guy really is without sneakers on. Durbin's 5'6.5", so he's small. He's small, and I still see him. He looks like a second baseman. But I guess if I had to guess right now, I would say he's your opening day third baseman, and Meyer's going to be at second. Christian Campbell, I don't know where he's going to be. Yes,
I have a question. Yeah. Wouldn't you think he would be better? This could be wrong, and I could be stupid. Wouldn't you think he'd be better as a second baseman as opposed to a third baseman for the simple fact of height? That's
the point I'm trying to make. Okay. They're not seeing what I see because Durbin played every day at third base last year, but he looks like a second baseman.
Okay.
And I told you last week he came up with the Yankees. He was a second baseman shortstop, kind of what Pedroia was. He's got that body, that build. He looks like a second baseman. So I would plug him there, but obviously he played 145 games last year, 100 at third base for Milwaukee. And they said he played not Gold Glove defense, but very, very, very well over there. And he was third in the Rookie of the Year voting. That's big. So I think this is a player, and you mix him up. But I guess the moral of the story here, Jess, is either way, Meyer's got a good mitt. This kid's got a good glove. Contreras came over from the Cardinals. He's got a pretty good glove at first after making the transition from behind the plate. They're going to be able to catch the ball, I guess. And that's why you go get a Ranger Suarez. That's why you have a better pitching staff. And I'm telling you, they've made some moves where they've gotten rid of a couple of depth pieces to make some trades to bring guys in. I'm okay with it, getting rid of a Kyle Harrison from the Devers trade. I don't care. But, be careful. Watch out because, before you know it, this guy gets hurt, that guy gets hurt, and then you're short on pitching. You got rid of Dobbins. You got rid of Fitz. You got rid of Harrison. Hicks went to the White Sox. I would have drove him.
Fine.
I would have drove him to the airport.
He's the one that had the foot injury.
Yeah, but he threw 102. He threw 102 and got ripped every time. It was terrible. He couldn't find the plate. So bye.
Maybe 103 was more.
Yeah,
that's what you needed.
No, I kind of like the rotation, but just be careful. You got a guy like Cutter Crawford coming back this year. Patrick Sandoval came over from the Angels last year. Wasn't able to play. Got $9 million to sit there in rehab, but he's a lefty.
God, I love that job.
He's a lefty in the rotation that they could at the back end of that rotation. You still got Bayo and Oviedo they brought over from the Pirates. So, and of course at the top you've got the horse. You got, as they call him, the pig. You got Garrett Crochet looking to bounce back from a build off of an absolute stud season where he was, I thought he was the Cy Young, but he was right there with Schoolboy in the voting. So, and you back that up with Sonny Gray and Ranger Suarez. I like the way they're going to pitch. The question, and you're going to hear it from me a lot, is are they going to score enough runs? Are they going to have enough pop in that lineup? That remains to be seen.
All right, very good. Is there anything else? Because we got 18 minutes left, and I know we want to destroy PC. So
so
and we. I was watching that game, and I'm just like, it's 3 hours now. Like they have security. Anyway,
no, that was good.
Yeah,
but no, I was telling you off air that guys like Judge and expect some of your Yankee guys, or at least Judge, to play a little bit in the spring early. And not that they're going to, because he's going to leave for the World Baseball Classic pretty soon. And of course, Red Sox outfielder Roman Anthony was added to that team when Corbin Carroll went down with the hammock bone
injury. He looks
so
old.
So yeah, he's above it. He's ahead of his time.
Yeah,
isn't he?
He's like an old baseball. I'm talking old in the 50s.
I know. Yeah. He's got it. And he said, I dreamed about this. I was hoping down the road. So 10 years from now to get asked to play for this team, and now here I am. So obviously, some of these guys are going to be leaving to go play in the World Baseball Classic. The Red Sox started against Northeastern already. They always play that college game to start the season, but you're going to start to see a lot of these guys, get ready for the season. Spring training's a little bit long, but it's still
snow is still on the ground.
It's still fun to see. It's still fun to see baseball, and then Fort Myers for the Red Sox.
All right, very nice. We're going to do quick to hockey. I mean, obviously, we have the Olympics going on. Very excited, but I know it's not male Olympics. The female, U.S. team won gold. Talk about like an intense overtime game, the 2-1. Very impressive stuff. But obviously, we have our NHL players playing for gold as well.
Yeah, and of course, you always want to see that Canada-USA matchup, and we got the dream matchup with the women.
Yeah.
And of course, Megan Keller scores the overtime game winner. You dream about that as a kid growing up, to score a game winner in the Olympics.
Yes.
To beat the country you want, your arch rival. I guess Canada-USA.
Yeah,
is
because
the
that's
rival,
what they're known for is hockey.
So this was big for the USA, and in the women's, they were down 1-0 in the third period. They only gave up 2 goals the whole tournament. They were killing it.
I
They
know.
were crushing teams.
Yep.
If you want to say crush, in hockey, you only can crush it so much.
Well, but
Dominant.
still.
Absolutely dominant. You've seen, on the men's side, Canada kind of, had a little bump in the road the other day. Sidney Crosby got hurt, Pittsburgh Penguins superstar. So there's some stuff going on there, but it's been an enjoyable Olympics. Just to keep you a little bit of an update as we do keeping score here.
Yep.
USA has 27 medals, only 9 gold right now. Norway leads the way with 36 medals. 17 gold. So still a lot to be determined in the next few days, as this 3-week tournament kind of.
Well, it
before
wraps
you know
up
it,
tonight.
So it's been a fun time.
It really has, and like it takes me a little bit to jump into the Olympics, but then once I do, and then I'm watching like the figure skating, and I'm watching the U.S. win in the either losing in the men's and women, they ended up winning gold. So I mean, it was like dramatic stories, and I hope a lot of people get sponsorships, because I don't know what you do after you win a gold medal,
Yeah, call keeping score.
Yeah, I could be like, hey, would you like to be a guest?
Sponsorship. I'm reaching.
I don't know if we're gold medalists in something. All right, well, let's get to. Oh, I'm trying to pick a bed. Let's get to PC.
Good luck.
I know. Oh no, they don't deserve that one. There we go.
Hopkins running the floor. Hopkins. Oh, he is whacked.
Whoa.
Hard foul. Hopkins springs up. And it is on the baseline.
There's absolutely a time to have hard fouls. There's a time to have hard fouls through a guy's arm. You never want to hit anyone in the head intentionally, obviously. I didn't think that was a time for hard foul. As I watched it live, I thought he could have just ran harder and got in front of him and had a good legal play, honestly. I thought if he ran hard, I thought he could have got in front of him and just guarded him. He actually blocked the ball clean, but then he came through his face after.
He blocked his face clean. That's what he did. I mean, I saw that and I'm like, oh, Hopkins is going to get up and there's going to be some drama in that game.
I mean, Kim, it's bad enough that you can't coach, okay? But you were saying all the right things up until the point where you said he got all ball, all right? I mean, you went from saying he could get in front of him and make a play. Right. Obviously, what he was trying to say was he was sizing him up, so he laid back, so he's waiting so he could clothesline him, is what he did. It was a filthy, dirty, rotten play, okay? But, Kim, come on now. Something that I want to jump on right away, Jess, because obviously I'll give you a little bit of a baseline here. I got a call at 9:00 in the morning from Joe Falco, one of my buddies from 10 on Sunday. Yeah, offering me, ticket to go to the game with him. He goes, I got 2 seats right behind RP from Ricky P with the suit on with the red tie, and I said, nah, I'm good. I said I got a lot going on, but I mean I wasn't sniffing it. So obviously I'm getting texts from him. He's giving me every picture because there was so much going on in that area. Yeah, with all the with the melee and all the fans and so he was loving it. Most people. Unfortunately, there's more people out there than you would think that loved what happened. Yeah, they did. Some of our a couple of our PC insiders loved it too. Hell with Hopkins. Now, granted, I don't like Hopkins for the fact that I think he dogged it last year and could have played and took our money and didn't play when there's no sense of urgency. But that's what happens in NIL when you make millionaires out of these kids. So let's move on from that. Right. And I think Hopkins stinks. By the way, I think he's terrible.
He wasn't good. He started he
had a couple of dunks and he's looking up at the crowd. He's playing that sticking in your grill. He didn't deserve that though. He didn't deserve to get clotheslined. By the way, I love.
He could have really gotten hurt.
I really like my buddy Panak. I told him, I said, you probably like this Duncan Powell kid. You like the villain. He goes, well, I like the villain when they're good. Meaning
occasionally hits a 3.
A villain is someone that has done something, proven something. He's got a role, whether it's a Rodman, whether it's a Sean Thornton with the Bruins years ago. There's villains, but they have an identity. Yeah. Duncan Powell, other than the fact he's got no hair and then at the bottom he's got some lettuce. I don't get it. He had the mask on early and he's done nothing for the Friars. A guy that I thought was going to be an integral part of their rotation.
He started the fight.
Here's my problem with the whole thing, and this is something because I obviously didn't go to the game, so I was able to watch it.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there on TNT, True TV,
Yep,
they're
TNT.
both networks. And I'm going to tell you, like, so obviously, I know they had to, kind of unravel everything that happened with the officials. It took 19 minutes. So
I
it was
know.
a big delay. PC was 40-39 at the
They
time
were
when it
winning.
happened. It's 40-39. They probably weren't going to win the game anyways, but it was a game.
Right.
And they turned it into not a game. So
Changing
obviously
the momentum.
Yeah, and it certainly didn't go in PC's favor. My question to you, and if you didn't pick up on it, because no one's mentioned it, so I haven't heard one media person say it. This is where I lost it with Kim English. If I hadn't already lost it with Kim English, is the fact that you knew right away, no matter what they were going to talk about, going to the monitor, seeing anything, there was one thing that was definitive here.
That he was getting kicked out.
Is that Duncan Powell's history.
Right.
Why is he not in the locker room right from the rip?
I know.
Why am I looking every?
He's like laughing on the
Why am I
sidelines.
looking every 2 seconds? At one point, he was either laughing
Or he's telling the crowd to get up.
That was at the end when he finally went to the locker room. He's got the hands up in the
Yeah.
air. But when they looked over, and I don't care. It's not a stereotype. He's got a million tattoos. He's got them all through his neck. I'm looking at this guy that's got ice water in his veins, and he didn't care.
No.
Okay, so he's either laughing, he was enjoying himself, and they took an opportunity, the national network, to keep showing him. So you're showing him. I'm saying to myself, he's tossed. Why is he still there?
Yeah.
There's only a chance of another fight or something can happen. You know he's not going to get reinstated. He's gone. He sucks anyways.
Yeah.
So finally, they wait until they give all the
official.
who's getting gas, and he leaves, and he's trying to pump the crowd up. I thought that was like, what are you doing, Kim? And then obviously fast forward to 6 minutes later, where Jameer Jones decides to just push Zuby, who would have put him through a wall. Okay, and that was dirty too.
Yeah,
It's just,
right
you
in the
just
back.
push a guy who could hurt someone like that. He's lost it because now Jameer Jones is starting to play like a freshman now, and not a very good one. The way he's been playing the last month, freshman wall. He's hit the freshman wall.
Yeah, they figured him out, I think.
So and he's lost his head. And I told you, and this hops on something I told you about 6 weeks ago when they were playing a game. I forget who they were playing. Maybe it was Marquette, but there was a play at halftime, and somebody made a block shot, and he got the ball and threw it at the guy.
Yes.
And I think I mentioned that to you, and I'm like, there was no need for that. So this kid's got a little bit of a
Hothead.
temper. Yeah, he's a little bit of a hothead, and he's not producing like he was either. So, and I watched Kim run out on the court, and then Kim's got his hand over his face.
And
Like,
he's
what are you doing? But it just showed Kim looked like he didn't belong there. He looked like a coach that like the inmates are running the asylum. I hate to say it like that, but it looks like he has no control over the team. And now you're paying these kids. So that's a whole nother thing. This is just a mess now in Providence. I thought Patino handled it well with his group, with his team. Obviously, a lot of guys left the bench.
No slapping the hands, no handshakes
That's
at the
fine.
end of the game.
Let's get our guys out of here.
Yeah, I mean, the security. Then there was the kids in the stands fighting with the parents of the guys from St. John's. I mean, at some point, we're going to just look like trash. It gets just beat them.
Yeah.
You winning the game speaks enough.
So
you don't need to take their heads off. You don't need to push them in the back.
And then listen, it takes two to tango, but obviously Powell started the whole thing. Hopkins got up and kind of stepped on him, but did nothing. And then when the fight was going on, he was like not even near it. And then you got Oswin trying to work it with Dylan Mitchell, who's a punk for St. John's. He started pushing people. Jalen Sellers, I don't think I'd mess with him. The shooting guard for PC. He got tossed.
There was two Sellers. I didn't know that.
They had a Sellers, Osiah Sellers, and we had Jalen Sellers, who had just got the award for Biggie's Player of the Week.
Yep.
So you lost him in the game. You didn't win the fight.
No.
Because you lost.
You shifted everything
Powell,
to them.
You lost Powell sucked. Now you just didn't have enough bodies.
Right.
Finally, PC had to put the kid Williams in number 8. He's a walk-on, and they're giving you the bio on the kid saying he was he was at UCLA or Cal Santa Barbara as the
ball boy.
Yeah, no, he was the team manager. He was the team manager. I thought they said mascot. I mean, it was just bad. They were really scraping to finish out that
it was
game.
really bad.
It was just like, all right,
They needed Sellers to still be
what's
there.
What's going to
Powell
happen
didn't matter.
next? And I heard there was a rumor that Hopkins, his father, was sitting right near, right in the St. John section.
Yeah.
They either had to get him out of the air
Yeah,
or
that was
something.
him. He was wearing the big blue thing. Yeah,
there was a lot going on. There's just no upside, and it just this just piggybacks off of what I've said all year. I haven't been complaining about this kind of stuff, but this just goes to where a coach doesn't have the locker room, doesn't have control over his players. A kid like Powell, he would never play for me again.
No,
to be honest, just what you did and the way you enjoyed it, and people that took joy in that, because a lot of people enjoyed it too.
Mm-hmm.
So he made some people's day.
Yeah.
If people are happy over that day, well, you got another loss in the column, and right now you're what 11-15, 4-11 in the Big East.
Like a bunch of punks.
It's absolute garbage.
Now,
the team's a mess.
Now, Joe Mazzulla was there, and I didn't see any follow-up of people asking him about the game, but I'm telling you right now, I think Joe Mazzulla probably loved that game. I bet he loved the fighting. I bet he loved the aggression. I bet he loved the fact that they didn't care. Like, Joe Mazzulla was sitting there, and I'm just like, he probably thinks this is awesome. And I also think that maybe they had a little extra edge on them because he was there, because they know he's a UFC guy. He's like, he's all about the boxing and the aggression.
The other thing I thought about was, like, because it looked like he was so targeted, like Hopkins was targeted, but you look at it like what would possess Powell to do that? These kids change schools every year. I don't think Duncan Powell cared about PC 2 years ago.
No.
When Hopkins was a Friar. So he's not going to say like, let me get this guy. You're only in there right now because Hopkins is at St. John. So like, I don't see it looked really like a filthy, dirty play. And I have a real problem with it. And I think Kim's he's got to go yesterday.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it. It's a rotten product that he's putting out there.
I can only imagine the meetings afterwards, like with the AD and everything, like just as PC being the school that they are. And like, he's on the court and he's saying Jesus Christ or whatever. I don't even know if I can say that on the air, but like, and I'm just like, you're a Catholic school. Like, I don't know. It was just, it was embarrassing.
So Powell got, it's a fighting when it says fighting.
So it is a suspension.
So it's 2 games plus the 1 game. It's automatic for fighting. It's 1 game. And then the Big East or PC, they tacked on 2 more games.
Oh, wow.
So he gets 3 altogether. And like, I think there's 5 left. I'm good with not seeing Powell.
What is he getting? What is he getting for money? Do you even know?
My guess would be a kid like Powell is probably making about $500,000 this year, which is $500,000 more than he's earned.
Right.
He's been terrible. I mean, like,
occasionally he hit a 3 here and there.
Yeah, like the game he hit 3 threes against Marquette and turned around and taunted Shaka Smart and got a technical.
Yeah.
And then Kim took him out. See, these things I'm telling you about that I've been saying all along, this is all leading up to what you saw Saturday.
His image does not really hide the fact that he's acting exactly how he looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that he was still like not in the locker room. How do you not say, go to the locker room?
Right. I also think that Kim was dealing with then he's like, all right, so who is going to get kicked out?
You got 7 assistant coaches. He's not coming back in the game. Get him to the locker room before there's a riot here in Providence.
Right. Yeah, he was trouble. All right, well, with that, let's talk about birthdays. It is Sunday, February 22nd. We got 4 minutes left. Who was born today?
That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
We really went for the PC.
One of the great managers of all time, Sparky Anderson, passed away in 2010. Hall of Fame manager, World Series champion in 75 and 76 with what they called the Big Red Machine, the Cincinnati Reds. They took that Detroit Tiger team in 84. They won it from start to finish with Kirk Gibson. One of the great managers of all time, Sparky Anderson. Moving on, one of the great classy ball players of my generation.
Powell?
Julius Erving. Dr. J is 76.
Oh, nice.
Hall of Fame forward, Philadelphia 76. He's finally got that NBA title after winning a couple in the ABA. Won it in 1983, of course, when they brought Moses Malone over. Something a lot of people may not know. He played his college ball at the University of Massachusetts with former Boston College and URI coach Al Skinner. Mm-hmm. And I believe Rick Pitino was on one of those teams as a backup guard on one of those teams when he was coming on the scene. Yeah. So and I got one former Celtic player, Rajon Rondo.
Oh, see, he had an edge to him. That's it.
Yeah, he's 40. Well, he retired young because he couldn't get a roster anymore. He hit his girl with a phone one time or PlayStation or something. I don't know. 2-time NBA champion, Celtics, Lakers, came out of the University of Kentucky. He was on that. He was a rookie on that second year and on that Celtic team that won it with KG and the Big Three. And they told him, just don't mess it up. You're a rookie point guard, second-year point guard. And he did a good job for the Celtics. Good player, smart player.
Yes. He knew it wasn't about points for him.
Rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but he knew how to play the game. Mm-hmm. Shifting over to the other side, it's not entertainment. Former U.S. President George Washington.
Oh, wow. How old is he today? We don't give him enough respect. He was on my $1 bill.
I didn't do the math, so I'm just going to tell you he was born in 1732 and he passed away in 1799. So you figure out the math. We're up against it here. And one actress, movie actress and talk show host, Drew Barrymore is
48.
51.
Oh, no kidding.
And you know me, I always find a way to equate it to sports. Love it. Fever pitch, Red Sox
67
movie.
is when Washington died. Okay.
What? I thought you'd like that one.
The Wedding Singer, she was in, Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
50. Did you say 50 First
How
Dates?
about E.T.?
That one, yeah.
Phone
so
Home.
cute.
Yeah.
She was also in a movie called Firestarter, which she was probably drinking at the time because she was so young. Yeah. And she would get mad and she would just set houses on fire. She was in a lot of good stuff.
Fever pitch is mine. I'm going to go with that because it's sports and it's the Red Sox. So those are my birthdays for February 22nd.
Beautiful. All right, 2 minutes. What do you want to chat about? I did start Black Rabbit on Netflix. Not bad. Jude Law, Jason Bateman. So
I think I told you when I watched it that was the first time I ever saw Jude Law in anything.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't watch movies
The
really
Holiday?
anymore. I never saw that. Was that with
Oh.
Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Really
but
cute.
Just never got into any, but he was good in this.
Mm.
And Bateman never misses. And I think I even told you Bateman's got something else coming out on HBO in another month or so in March called like DTF St. Louis or
Oh,
something.
yeah, it
but
is DTF because I was just like, I know what that means, but I won't say it on the air.
He's legit. I love
Yes.
Bateman, but Black Rabbit, solid.
Yeah. And so what are you watching, by the way, on Hulu tomorrow? I know you don't have it. Paradise is back.
Really?
Season 2. Yes.
Oh, we got it. The world ended. I got it. It's like, all right. I mean, Sterling Brown, we got
Well,
it.
what people didn't watch it?
I banged out the Lincoln Lawyer. Like I just
Okay.
got into it, and I was season 4. I forget the guy's name, the lead guy. There's not a lot of huge names in it.
Mm.
I mean, over the course of 4 years, there's been some good actors. They're thinking about doing like a crossover because he started obviously as a lawyer working out of his trunk.
Oh.
That's what they call him, a Lincoln Lawyer. He was doing cases out of his trunk, Lincoln Lawyer.
Okay.
And now he's big now, and it's really good. The guy Bosch, who had a show on Amazon Prime for years, Titus Welliver's the character actor,
Okay.
who's the lead guy. They're gonna do a little bit of like a merge.
You
like
love a good crossover.
Yeah,
You do.
I'm a big crossover guy, and I don't mean like Tim Hardaway's
No,
crossover
no.
either.
You
Not
have
the
all the
UTEP
series.
two-step.
CBS, NBC, Chicago Fire, Ambulance, Blue Bloods, Boston Blue. Well, this wraps. Hey, we did pretty good
No,
considering we
solid.
didn't have anything.
I noticed that my mindset's different when football's over because I think I slow down a little bit. I
Yeah.
speak a little more freely because I know we have more time. I
Right,
don't have to fit everything
Banging
in.
out
And
right
yeah.
up against it. No, we nailed it. Very good. This is Keeping Score with Jess and Dean, back next week at 9 a.m. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Keeping Score with Jess and Dean, and we'll talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye.